WTXL ABC 27 brings to you Difference Makers, the Year in Review, with your host, Christine Souders.
Thanks for watching Difference Makers, a year in review. You nominated them and we shared their stories. Through your help, we've learned about difference makers right here in our communities, doing big things and leaving a positive impact on people's lives. We wanted to see how the difference makers have been since airing their stories on the first Friday of each month. So we're giving you an update on what great things they've been doing. Some of our difference makers are shaping how our society understands social issues such as mental health and reducing recidivism. Their approach is unique and effective. Take a look.
And I got 2 more baked ziti's, both
on the menu today at Hope Community Center in Tallahassee, baked ziti and burgers cooked to order.
French fries.
Helping in the kitchen is Marcus Farrell. He's a student in Refire, a culinary training program for people with felony convictions.
You got to live with it for the rest of your life.
Farrell was sentenced to 4 months for identification fraud. After his release, Farrell, a single dad of 3, applied for 10 jobs, had 6 interviews.
I had a felony on my background and they couldn't hire me.
With 3 mouths to feed, he needed a job.
Refire is a kitchen term. It means to correct a mistake. So we're getting these individuals through our program, giving them the skills they need and allowing them to correct the mistakes they've made with their lives and move forward in a different direction so that we can break the cycle of recidivism.
Rebecca Kelly Manders, who also goes by Chef Rebecca, founded Refire with Big Bed Homeless Coalition. It's a grassroots program completely funded by donations, and it's at no cost to the students.
Everybody has done something, and you either got caught or you didn't. The kitchen is one of the most forgiving places.
Chef Rebecca knows firsthand how hard it is to get a job with a felony on your record.
I've been clean and sober for 20 years now, and I wouldn't make those same decisions today, but I still have to answer to them.
And she says it costs her less to teach 20 individuals over an 8-week course than it does to house 1 individual in a prison for 1 year.
It's better for our tax dollars to not be spent on housing individuals in prison, and it's better that we have more contributing members in our community.
She can't fix the criminal justice system, but she can help these students to succeed and graduate from the Refire program.
I'm just doing what the right thing to do is. I was just incredibly proud.
Also proud, these kids who got to see Dad graduate.
Sky's the limit. So I'm very hopeful for the future.
All 4 are now food safety certified. And the icing on the cake, they all have jobs.
We need to allow them to refire their lives, correct that mistake and move forward and just be the best person that we know that they can be.
We checked in with Chef Rebecca Kelly Manders, who says the number of students who've completed the Refire program has grown from 4 to 23. She says 16 of her graduates are working in a kitchen.
When you talk about a mental health condition about somebody, they immediately think about violence and unpredictability and that sort of thing, when the fact is that somebody who suffers from mental health conditions are actually more likely to be victimized. Creating art is a place of refuge for Jim Russell, who's witnessed more than most. One of the first cases I ever worked was a child abuse case of a 4-year-old. A lot of those things, being able to express myself and to be able to talk about those things through artwork and help other people understand the impacts of those things, have made my reach a little bit further than just going to work and being a cop. After 25 years on the force, the now retired Florida State Deputy Chief is focused on his art. Many of his pieces portraying his own personal experience of dealing with mental health. I'm diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and I also have gotten panic disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. Russell points out one of his early paintings before even knowing he, a cop, was struggling with mental illness. An oil painting depicting somebody who is experiencing depression and how they feel about that. Over the years, his art dives into other social issues. Child abuse. Dismantling this child emotionally and mentally. Sexual assault. Unwanted focus and attention. Suicide. People don't talk enough about it in a constructive and healing kind of way. Being a cop and having mental health issues is difficult. Being a grieving parent is a club that nobody wants to belong to.
A club Bill Tice became a part of almost 6 years ago when his 26-year-old son, Billy, committed suicide.
I do suffer from PTSD. I was the one who found my son. He shot himself in the head with my shotgun. Billy was my only child, and basically when I lost him, I lost a big part of my identity and my purpose in life.
Bill Tice asked Jim Russell to capture his grief in a painting. He'll now see it for the first time.
That is perfect. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
He has a talent for conveying the message of the feeling of mental illness, of being suicidal, and also giving the message that there is hope. You can get through it, and that is an important part to me. He gives me hope.
And Russell says it's that hope that draws him to the easel.
It's not going to make it better, but sometimes when you're dealing with something that is so hard, just knowing you have somebody shoulder to shoulder with you can help you stand up a little bit longer.
Hi, it's Jim Russell here, and it was really an honor to be a difference maker for the month of July. And since that time, I've been really busy, especially with Hurricane Michael having come through and done so much damage. I've been donating paintings to raise money to get funds to where they're needed the most. And that's been really something that's been an honor to do as well. I'm also putting together a program for first responders using art as a stress reduction tool, and I plan to have that introduced here in the region as soon as we get that program all pulled together. And of course, I'm doing art shows in the fall and into the spring. You know, one thing I think I just want to leave you with is nobody can do everything to make a difference, but everybody can do something. So no matter what it is that you do and what you like to do and what you can offer, no matter how small it may seem, it does make a difference in somebody's life. So go ahead and do it. Good seeing you. Thanks a lot. And it's really been great being a difference maker. Thank you so much.
Difference makers are people you can count on. It's the very reason why you nominated Miss Flora Woodfolk and Snoopy. Everyone calls Patricia Stanley by her nickname, Snoopy. She's worked for the pharmacy 5 years now. And when people see the little red car, you're guaranteed to get a wave and a smile.
Pretty much wave at anybody and everybody, and they do the same.
Despite having 2 other big box pharmacies in town, Snoopy goes the extra mile. In fact, half of Lee & Pickle's drugstore customers have never even stepped foot in the door. Snoopy says she brings the customers their medications to their doorstep for various reasons. Many of them are either not well enough to pick them up at the store or can't drive, like Joanne Johnson.
Good to see you. I'm good.
When she started coming out here, I'd never met her before. And we were just instantly friends.
Snoopy visits Miss Johnson once a week, and she always brings a treat for Lucy.
You can't be in a bad mood around Snoopy because she's going to pick you up.
Older lady who lives by herself, doesn't have a lot of family around, and she called and said, well, thank you so much for the meal that y'all brought to me. And I had no idea what she was talking about because Snoopy had just taken her dinner one night, just out of the kindness of her heart. I get phone calls all the time just bragging on how much they care about her, how much she cares about them. She's just went above and beyond and just loved on people.
Everybody gives, everybody cares for each other. There's a lot of love in this town.
Snoopy is still going the extra mile for people in her community. Over the holidays, she delivers meals to some of her customers, continuing to put smiles on people's faces in Quitman, Georgia. Flora Woodfolk is now in her 80s. She credits more than 4 decades of teaching students in the Taylor County School District for keeping her young at heart. She began educating 3rd graders when she was only 19 years old.
They keep me young, you know.
I love Miss Woodfalk. She was an excellent teacher.
Laura Woodfalk is keeping busy. Right now, she and the Taylor County school students are fundraising for a trip to Washington, D.C. to check out the Smithsonian and National Museums. She's also working with her former student, Superintendent Glover, to address ways to improve student attendance. It's great to see our difference makers continue to do amazing things. It doesn't stop there. Up next, the difference makers, changing people's lives for the better. Your nominations for September and October when we come back.
You're watching Difference Makers, the year in review.
Welcome back to Difference Makers, a year in review. Crossing paths with these two difference makers has been life-changing for people in need of help, whether that's providing food and shelter for those in the community to helping people choose between a life addicted to drugs or being clean and sober. Here they are.
Welcome to Mothers in Crisis, Simone.
Mothers in Crisis, letting you know that
this public service announcement aired into the late night hours in 1995. Juanita Thompson, at the time, was a young mother of two. She recalls watching PSAs like these while deep in her drug use.
When I was using, I had crack in one hand and alcohol in the other, and I seen a commercial on TV.
Remember, as long as there's breath in your body,
there is hope. I said, I got to find her, one day. But I was still in my use at that time.
Juanita Thompson started attending the Mothers in Crisis support group, a grassroots organization started by Rosalind Hopkins 4 years into her own recovery.
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for 12 years. Started using marijuana at the age of 12, and it progressed to powder cocaine.
Tompkins says Mothers in Crisis began as a way to give women the tools they need to stay clean and sober through counseling and education.
We've implemented lots of programs here in Tallahassee and surrounding areas. I would like to thank the WTXL viewers for nominating me to be a difference maker. As a way of update, I'm continuing to spearhead the Mothers in Crisis Hope campaign as we celebrate every Friday as Hope Universe Day. In addition, we are preparing for April, the National Month of Hope, where we will be releasing the results of the Hope Survey and my latest book, As Long as There's Breath in Your Body, There is Still Hope.
The guy in the hat, that's Mr. Ira Hamilton, and every week for the last, 4 or 5 years, this is what he does.
Ira Hamilton voluntarily picks up 4,000 pounds of donated food every Tuesday from area businesses and delivers it to Destiny Church.
I was raised to help others, to send my blood. That's what we do.
A man of little means, often putting others before himself. He's a single father on a fixed income. The place he called home, Hamilton says, not fit for raising his son.
The house that I was in wasn't up to par. Summer, we burnt up. It was hot. And then the winter, we froze.
This is where Ira Hamilton used to live with his son 6 months ago. As you can see, it's not in the best living condition. And this is where Ira Hamilton and his son live now. Central AC, no leaky roof, a solid foundation. It actually used to be Pastor Jackson's family home. They gave it to him.
Shocked. I'm still shocked. But I'm enjoying it.
The same way that I've always prayed for you, I want you to pray for me, okay?
Making sure others' needs are met during a tough time in his own life. The youngest of Pastor Jackson's 4 kids, 2-year-old Jay, was recently diagnosed with cancer.
My wife and I, my children, we understand this is just a process. And, this is something that we're going through, and she's going to beat it.
He says the work doesn't stop because you face trials and tribulations.
Matter of fact, it prompts you to do more. It prompts you to get out there and make more of a difference.
Pastor Jackson says he has a lot to be thankful for. He says the home he and his wife gave to Ira Hamilton withstood Hurricane Michael, keeping his family safe during the storm.
But it's this little miracle Pastor Jackson says that makes him most grateful. His daughter, Jay, has had a miraculous recovery from stage 4 cancer. Finally, there is no cancer in her body after 5 rounds of chemotherapy and surgery.
Our next difference makers both excel where they work.
On the field, Coach Hollis teaches his kids the value of sportsmanship and teamwork. He gives them words of encouragement. Here, let's just have the students tell you for themselves.
Practice make perfect.
He'll say, good job, do what you're doing, and get back on defense.
That's my girl.
Off the field, those messages echo. Coach Hollis has more students to look after now. Principal Robinson says the school's enrollment has increased by nearly 100 students this school year. He continues to keep up with his duties as flag football coach and security. He's also taken on an additional role of helping in the school's beautification project. You could say Sergeant Smith is a trendsetter.
It's not a legacy unless you're leaving something.
The badge-yielding cop with a mohawk is the first African-American female sergeant in the Investigations Bureau.
It just paves the road for so many other people who may come after, who have the dreams and aspirations to maybe one day sit in this seat.
Smith is the founder of the nonprofit It's All About Her. HER, the acronym for Healing, Empowerment, Restoration.
It's always been my mission to be able to help those who have gone through not just childhood sexual assault, but any type of traumatizing event.
Smith says she wasn't going to let her abuser hinder her future.
I was molested by my pastor. And it was a very difficult thing to go through and endure, especially when you feel like you have to do it without support. No person, whether it's a child, female or male, have to feel like they have to depend on themselves going through that tough of a trauma by themselves. I've shown up in parking lots. I've shown up at Walmart. I'm like a mobile response unit.
And all she really cares about is if she can make a difference just one life at a time. If it's way more, that's fine too.
People share their lives and where they were before and where they are now, and you've just had a hand in that. And to me, that's the greatest measure of success you could ever have. Thank you so very much for sharing my story with our community and with surrounding areas. I want to let you know what I've been up to since the show aired. I have continued my work in the community with sharing a message of hope, healing, empowerment, and restoration, as well as released my first book titled When Purpose Seems Like Punishment, a memoir of tragedy and triumph. I encourage you to continue to do your work. It may make a difference in someone's life.
You nominated Kim Thacker as March's difference maker for helping Leon County refugees navigate a new way of life in America. We introduced you to a Congolese family who moved across the world from Uganda to Tallahassee. Thacker would give them rides to the grocery store and help them with their English. We checked in with Kim. She wrote us back saying since the segment aired, she and her family moved not across continents like her friends from the Congo, but to Connecticut. She plans to get involved with the local refugee population there and keeps in touch with the refugee families in Tallahassee. They help her with her Swahili, which she hopes to speak well enough soon. Coming up, one FAMU student is helping her peers land a job by giving them new threads. Plus, the men and women who dedicated numerous hours to help in relief efforts following Hurricane Michael.
You're watching Difference Makers, the year in review.
You can make a difference in any stage of your life. Remember February's difference maker? FAMU student Kayla Oden was nominated because of her effort to provide her peers with professional clothes to wear for job fairs. We caught up with Kayla. She continues to put on the Career Closet pop-up shop once a semester, and her public service continues to evolve. She helped host a voting information session for students to learn about midterm election candidates and amendments. She's also collected donations for people affected by Hurricane Michael. And in her spare time, she tutors freshman students. Nice work, Kayla. November's Difference Makers was unique. So many of you showed up in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael, including this group of volunteers organized through Blountstown, Calhoun County Hurricane Relief. We have an update from Tom Dierzapolsky, who hit the ground running to get the donation center ready. He says Calhoun Liberty Ministry Center has taken over the operations and has been helping families through the holidays. He says because many people are still out of work, the need is still there. If you want to join in on the effort or want to make a donation, visit CalhounCountyHurricaneRelief.com. We truly appreciate the contributions by all of our difference makers thus far. But we know there's more of you out there. Hopefully by watching this, perhaps someone you know is doing something worth telling others about. Or maybe this will inspire you to do something big or small to make this world a better place. And don't forget to let us know. We want to hear about it and share these good news stories. Nominate a difference maker today by emailing us at abc27news@wtxl.tv. Thank you for watching Difference Makers, a year in review.